Hey guys, well, it's great to see you. This is here. I know usually I have some sort of a guest on with me, but tonight's a little bit different. Our guest will be coming on tomorrow. So today, I just want to do a little bit of tech talk. So my go-to is actually you guys, the viewers. Not only those who like subscribed. Um, but I'm looking for your comments so I can have a chat, maybe even possibly bring on some questions with regarding different ideas, different technology, different tuning, even when you're talking about like something like Castle Creations on a different motor. I've had some issues, and I'm sure everybody here has, with learning how basically to work the tuning curve on an ESC. Uh, and I mean, I'd love to hear from you guys. What kind of issues have you had? It doesn't matter if it's a brushed ESC like a Hobbywing 1080, or if it's a brushless like the Axe, or you could even go with a little bit of both when you're talking about the Mamba X, Micro X, side 1 to 3 or 4. Those are just some of the most recently and readily available ESCs that come to my mind. The only one that I really know that it's truly proprietary is going to be the Axe, because of the way that all the sensors are set up. So I'd love to know, what kind of difficulties have you guys come up with and seen? I know personally for me, one of my biggest difficulties was trying to tune the Hobbywing 3300 and trying to get a real slow crawl on an Element Enduro chassis. I even put the smallest possible pinion that I could for the situation in, giving me tons of torque on a 3300 550 can. And for those of you guys that don't know what I'm talking about, 3300 is the KV, which is essentially the speed. The more KV you have on a motor, the more speed you're going to have. The lower KV, clearly the less overall speed that you're going to be able to have in the long run. A lot of crawlers like a lower KV, such as, anywhere from 1,000 up to 2,200 is pretty standard. I personally like a little bit more because, sending it's a bad habit of mine. So, I mean, as I go on and as I talk about some of the challenges that I've come across, I'd love to hear from you guys. Just type it out. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. Whether it's a censored or sensorless motor, is it a pole thing? Trying a 2-pole versus a 4-pole motor. I'd love to hear what you guys got to say. So, all right, kind of getting back to the tuning of a 3300 kV on the Element Sendero chassis. Now, I know what my reputation is, and my reputation stands. Send it. But there are times where I do not like to send it, such as when you're 20 feet up on a rock, and if you send it, well, it's going to be a bad situation. So you try and crawl it. I had some issues with a 3300. I just think that particular motor was too powerful for that setup. Mark that down, because you'll very rarely hear me say something's too powerful. But I think it had too much horsepower for the torque that I needed. And I had even, gotten down to the lowest pinion possible, so it would slow things up. And I also did raise the total spur count as well, like I said, to try and really get the crawlability. One of the downsides that I found with that particular system, and I'm talking 550 3300 only on the Element chassis, was getting a really super slow crawl. Now, I've been able to do it with the 1800s and 2300s all day. In particular, the BRX01 is a perfect match for that 2300 kV situation. Hey, what's going on? You think my spur was too small? You know, I didn't think about it, but that you very well could be right. You very well could be. I would love to try it actually, but at Super Shafty, I plugged it in and my ESC went poof, just like that too. And like everybody just kind of stopped. It was like everybody at the comps just stopped and like, something smells bad. Who did it? And it was just plugging it in and it popped. But you could be right. But the downside was, had I gone to a too small of a spur or too big of a spur, I don't know. Maybe it was too small. Maybe I should have upgraded it too much. But it was also on a stock spur. No, it wasn't. I'm sorry. I take that back. That was on a 54. So had I maybe gone down a little bit, it might have been a lot more drivable. But here's the downside. That's also got a forward motor mount, so I couldn't go down much more. I did solve the problem, though, in replacing the whole situation, because I was at a competition. That truck was literally in the middle of like a giant rock pile. I just grabbed one of my spare trucks that I took as a parts truck just in case I knew it was already tuned. I knew it was ready to go and rocked it out from there and just did a quick change. Do not mind the animals. I have currently, if you guys saw my Instagram post, this is our little tree climber right here. Thanks, Jason. And I got the pup over here too. He's just chilling. And I got me just chilling. But I would love to try it back. I have to find another ESC that I can plug that motor into. But Adam, you have me thinking. I wonder if it would be a lot more smooth and more of a stock setup compared to the performance forward motor mount that I had made it to. So that I appreciate that thought process. So moving on, what other kind of tech have you guys had some issues with, or just some ideas? Shock tuning, links. That's fun. Hey, what's going on? 3,300 kV for a drift truck, not a crawler. So that's funny, Bull Gear. You know me too. By the way, for just to throw it out there, I actually know face-to-face Bull Gear as well as Adam Holper. And Bull Gear, I am all about the send. And I'm trying to con a friend of mine. Hold on, this one, my TRX6. I want to put a 3,800 in that girl on 4S because America. Y'all know me way too well. But conversely, this one right above my shoulder, that's what is considered a Sorka Class 3. It's kind of it's really an anything goes up to a certain tire height and a certain wheel size, actual wheel size. Right there, you can see that those got some real beefy wheels. Those are 5.75 inch wheels. And then the truck next to it, which is a D90, a true D90, by the way, Adam Holper, as much as that's got this Chevy body on it. Those are that's an RC 4-wheel drive D90 with 419 RC. I think those are the MTRs. Actually, they are the MTRs. That's actually one of my favorite trail trucks to drive because it's so challenging. It's got the full roof rack on top. It's probably one of my Put 3-to-1 reduction on the motor, and it will be great. Bull Gear, you make me think. Would that, instead of doing 3-to-1 reduction because of the performance of the motor mount, would that particular setup on the Element with that forward motor mount work really well with portals? Well, I have the answer. The answer is it does. What's really interesting, I pulled a 3Brothers Asus 6 out of the my old Skunkworks chassis. I was having in the middle of a rebuild, and that's the chassis I took to Super Shafty for just in case parts. You know, never know if you have a link break or whatever. I just wanted to be able to grab the chassis, take them apart, and go. And it was already preset on the ESC. It was already preset on the motor, and I took a 2100 Asus 6 and I put it in that chassis, the Element chassis, and it actually worked out really well. It's a little faster, but it's definitely not as fast as the 3300. But what I like about it is it has a lot more torque up front, and I can do my style a little bit better. I've had to really play with the tuning, and this is it's actually quite unique. The tuning curve that I put on it with the or from the Castle Creations. Stop thinking. Go read the archives from rccrawlerforum.com and discussed in 2011 before sensor motors were available for crawlers. Adam, what's interesting is I actually have quite a bit of that tuning already taken care of. If you look at my curve, and I'm not a person that I'm afraid to show what my curve looks like. My curve from 0 up until it's like at 2%. It goes immediately to 2%, and then it goes to that 20/30 kind of curve. So it's really interesting. So from start, it goes just up a little bit. So as soon as I apply throttle, it's taking that jitteriness, that you get with sensorless motors away, and then it's smooth, man. It's surprisingly smooth. And I can apply a surprising amount of throttle because of that curve, which makes that a little bit more a lot more crawlable. So maybe, Adam, I might be ahead of the game in my thinking of that, because that's also made it to portals too, which, there's further, as Alan said, gear reduction. I love gear reduction. I love playing with it. Now that I'm making Adam's head hurt, now you can see why Facebook banned me for 30 days. It's a party, guys. Don't you know? So yeah, make sure you take a second, guys. By the way, I do apologize for those who wanted to try and get on. I was originally going to do this on Facebook Live, but because Facebook banned me, I couldn't get on my record RC stuff. You just got to do the math. See, now, Adam, I'd say what's the equation, but I know what you're going to tell me. You're going to go to rccrawlerforum.com and do a search. I know it's going to happen, and it's all good. Because as many of us, especially the newer guys, we get into the crawler, into this, a lot of the topics that we talk about and we're asking questions about are actually pretty searchable. Hey, I was wrong. It's all good, though, Adam. It's all good. They're really searchable. A lot of times on Facebook, you have to really be good at going through the people who just like to make other people feel bad about themselves. And or you have to just be really good with your search parameters, like very specific. I have found that I actually do use RC Crawler Forum quite often. That's kind of a hidden gem that exists, but it doesn't. It's real interesting. That forum has saved my butt more times than I care to admit, because I think that the interface is a lot easier to be searched, and a lot of the information is on topic. Yes, sometimes you have to dig, but digging through RC crawler forums, like you're gonna gain a lot more information than I have found through Facebook. Conversely, I've also found, because of the Book of Faces, and this is a positive thing, by the way, I've been able to meet more people and put names to faces, and I actually come up and work with really a mentorship with a friend of mine. And I don't think that would happen as simply as it would have on through Facebook as it would have on RC crawler forums. I know a lot of guys do a lot of comping, a lot of trailing and such, and I just as much as I despise social media, it has its uses, and used properly, it is solid. Yep, very searchable, and old stuff is so much better. Yeah, I agree. Hey JD, what's going on, man? Just talking, just really kind of rambling tonight. Speaking of, my boy Adam over here sent me some sneak peeks. Excuse me. My wife made some fantastic chili. So thank God you guys are not near me. It's all good though. But yeah, so anyway, what topics do you guys want to continue talking about? We have tuning, we got all kinds of stuff. It could be for sensorless. Man, there's too much going on. I can even talk about the art of the send. Why do I send it so much? That's a good question. Starting to turn into MJ's rambling time. Hey, there we go. Trying to get the best frame of view without the amount of stuff on this side and this side, because there's a lot of stuff. It's water. Safe water. Anyway, I digress. So I mean, personally, I got a lot of builds going on. That empty spot right over here is this truck spot. So I might as well introduce you guys to her. How many fibers are intertwined in a shredded wheat brisket? That's a great question. And that's what she said, Bulgari. That question, Adam, would be best answered by Howard Wolowitz's mother off of Big Bang Theory. I know. I just went there. I'm a nerd. It's okay. So that little spot that you guys see that's empty right here, this truck is actually going to be taking its spot. I don't have a name for it, but clearly, as you guys can see, it's, hey, I have actual inner fenders, right? I have an actual interior. If you look really closely, you can see 4 seats. And if you look really, really closely, right behind that janky 4th seat in the middle here, there's a good old-fashioned, I don't know, it's really a milk crate. And that's where all my spare pieces are. Jailbait. Barely. I don't know. We'll think about that. We'll definitely think about that. But yeah, here's so when it comes to that Sorka comp thing, I can run over the points real quick. I have a reputation of pushing every roll possible. It's better than an Altoids can. By the way, as a roof rack, I have done what's going on, Eric? We got Adventure RC in the house. What's going on, brother? I have used an Altoids can as a roof rack. But yeah, I went and sprung for the diamond plate courtesy RC 4-wheel drive. It wasn't super cheap, but it was totally worth it. It does make it a little bit less janky. Should that be its name, janky? I don't know. I'm gonna see if I can. This one's a little bit brighter than what I like it to be. Aha, maybe that's better. All right. Use a yes sir. So I built the bumper. Just took some just a little sheet metal and some brake line and just bent it and screwed it on there and called it a day. Got some standard TRX 4, if you guys can see that. When it comes to a lot of shocks that I use, I have found the TRX 4 shocks are just high quality out of the box, and they're relatively cheap for the price. So yeah, anytime, Eric, you know it. And yeah, dude. So I have done more education in more places than I care to admit, and janky is more of it's I've definitely used that in the DC area, but I mean, it kind of describes my RCs. The truck is yellow like SpongeBob. You're not wrong. So the story behind the truck is, if you guys recall that element I started talking about, this is the body that I got with it. It was at one time really nice. It was actually pristine. Not even a scratch on it. And then I got a hold of scissors. So if you guys look, when you say gray area, by the way, for those who are all about that circus stuff, can you see electronics? No, you can see a transmission, but you can't see electronics. Gray area. And if you think you can see a red wire, let me do a little movement or I'm going to take a Sharpie and color it black so you don't see it. Because again, gray area. For those who are not circuit people, you can't see electronics technically. So I'm doing my best to kind of play that and play to that set of rules. Like I said, I'm trying to do my best. From there, if you even look at my rear bumper, this is where it gets fun. Full interior points. And this even has SUV points. But there's nothing in the rules that says a bumper can't come on an upwards angle. I know. A couple of you are going to go look at the rule book and see if you can prove me wrong. But that's why this truck is gray area, essentially. It really hits every gray area possible. Oh, bumper has to be extending from the rear. It is now. Interesting, right? Oh, you've got to have a spare tire for like a camel trophy. If I take this, there's a little screw right here that holds the bumper in as a second screw. If I back it out, this bumper is now able to move up and down. And I can do it by hand just a little bit. And then my spare tire fits right back there really nicely. And it actually has a full area. I can fit a full, one of these Aught6 KLR-Ms in there without a problem. And it also, here's the other side of it that I really like. It also kind of fills out that rear area without being too heavy. But the chassis itself, this chassis is pretty sweet. If you look at it really closely, I will have some Trail axle or drive shafts going on this in a bit, but they're currently out of stock. This is the Northwest Scalar Designs Scattergun version 2. For those of you that have been following me for a while, I had a lot of input on this particular chassis. I have a Skunkworks version, which is like 1.5, or it's right in between, where we did a lot of testing and a lot of input. And you can see the forward motor mount, the TRX4 axles, and also if you notice the excellent triangulation of the links. Like it's as true as I can possibly get it. Let's see if I can bring it up. There we go. Literally the inside of the links are the rod ends are touching. I couldn't ask for anything better. This truck doesn't have a ton of overdrive. It has a little bit, and it's all coming from the locker, or I should say the ring and pinion. Other than that, wet, ready to go. She weighs just a touch under 7, and she is a 50-point rig. But here's the awesome part. I pointed this truck out with a gas can, clearly drivers, as well as a medic. So that way I can also use it, and it's totally trailable for Recon G6 events. If you kind of notice, there's a theme that I like to do. Outside of my Class 1 rig, which is a dedicated Class 1 rig right here, my TF2, everything else I own, I will run on trail. It's kind of crazy, but that's where I build for. I build for shenanigans on the trail to be able to perform on a competition situation. So I'll say that one more time. I build for the trail, but with an air toward competition performance. I have seen a lot of true purpose-built comp trucks not be able to take it on a trail, which saddens me because they need to be driven, in my humble opinion. A buddy of mine brought it up to me that this truck right here, this truck should weigh under about 5 pounds. Now, I actually plan to take it and put it on a diet. With the Axial 10.3 straight axle is going to be coming out, and awesome, and I'm really excited for that, by the way. Thank you. That's going to open up some portal axles. Yep, see? Aiden's Class 2 rant. Yep, that's exactly what we want to see. We're on the same page a little more than what we even realized, Adam. What that's going to do is open up the Axial 10.3 portals. I do like to run a portal, so that's just my personal preference. I know Adam saying blah. You won't die. I promise you won't die. But with that, it's going to open it up. Also, hey, wait a second. Now that I have had the opportunity, I've been given the opportunity to also represent a younger brand called Trio. They make some amazing axles for the 10.3. Like, they are 70-75 aluminum, and you can also get them in billet. They are gorgeous. And now that they're making the inner and outer portal gears, they also make the overdrive for it. That means I need to get a spool, the bearings, and some other stuff. Okay, you love portals. Okay, gotcha. Good. I live on portals, brother. Do not be surprised if one day that TF2 comes out on 10.3 portals. It's a probability that'll end up happening. So on leafs, that's my goal. Something on portals with leafs. Eric, I saw that you also have a Trio set of housings for your 10.3. If you guys have been following, especially the most recent video, which I posted earlier today, there's some shenanigans with that 10.3. Those aluminum housings have really put up with some tough stuff. I'm super impressed with the durability, and I'm also super surprised with the lack of scratches. Whatever coating Trail is using is excellent with durability. All right. Adam, you know I'm going to say you should. JEC, man. JEC. Just PM him. Through the Book of Faces. Wouldn't be surprised if they have some stuff. I don't want to say easily available, but they can definitely custom make some stuff. Oh, there's a surprise. Already ordered. So for those who are don't really comp that much, yeah, dude. All right, so yeah, Trio brass pieces for your daughter's Capra. Do it, man. Trio has really come a long way. I've used some of their parts when I first got into RC 3.5 years ago, and from what I've seen, their parts that they're putting out are excellent, flat out. There's been a giant improvement in the design and specifically the machining and the coatings that they have used. All right, that's interesting, Jason. The Charisma axle housings. So in full disclosure, I've never actually driven a Charisma. I've seen a couple. I wonder if it's their plastic. Or does Charisma use metal axle housings? I'm interested to know. I know. I mean, if you look at any of my axle housings, they're pretty well chewed up, but they also slide out pretty well. I have seen one portal or one axle on a TRX4 actually have a hole in it from running it over rocks so much from the fixed 12-hour. That was really cool to see. And yeah, dude. So as Adam brings up, the trail axles really are beautiful. We have, excuse me. They're made out of the same 70-75 aluminum. And I really think, and I'm quickly seeing, that Trail's not the only company making them out of 70-75 because it's so much more durable. Oh, all right. So Jason's bringing up it's the shape of the housings, not the material. That's interesting. I'm gonna do a little research, Jason, just because I really want to know, what how you're talking and what you're discussing. Excuse me. And hey, I'm definitely interested to see where that goes. I'm gonna do a quick little Book of Faces post, bringing anybody that was interested in our chat. See if bringing them over here live on YouTube. And nope, wrong channel. There it is. By the way, if you guys find me on Facebook, it's Brock Lee Soup. It's pretty funny. Le Soup, if you will. Like I said, Adam knows my struggle. So do you, Eric. I still don't know why I caught a 30-dayer. I have my guessings, but I really don't know why. Yeah, I'm just saying, talking tech. Come on over. Oh my gosh, I can't even type. There it is. By the way, I need to do a quick shout out. We have a giant competition coming up this weekend. And yes, the competition's there. Is RC 4-Wheel Drive presents the VA Scalar Toys for Tots. RC 4-Wheel Drive is the headlining sponsor of our event. So awesome, and thank you guys for the price pack that they sent out. It's jaw dropping, honestly. They sent out quite a bit. You see, yeah. See, Eric, most of mine have been 3 days. I've seen the jail bars before as well, but a 3-dayer, no good. All right, back to the comp. It is coming up this coming Saturday, December 5th. Please bring a new toy, brand new. The general cost for each competition for the competition is $20 for the first class and $10 for subsequent classes. So what we ask is to bring a toy, whether whether it's boy or girl, or it could go for both, of pretty close to that value. We really immediately, right after we take a giant picture, send it, got all the trucks, got all the toys. It's really just a nice to do. And what I really find out of that's probably one of the most rewarding competitions. We get a larger draw just because it is a Toys for Tots event. But we also generally have a race going on at Adrenaline RC Raceway, which is where our rock crawler courses is on premises with that particular business. And they tend to have an event as well. So it's a giant time. It's great. And what makes the events great are the people. I can't say enough to the guys over at VA Scalar and all the shenanigans. What I really love watching are the kids' classes too. Those tiny humans, man. If one of my favorite things as a judge is to take the parents' choices out of context and put the choices inside of the tiny humans. It's one of my favorite things to do, because every so often that overzealous, father gets, and it's 98, not actually 100% of the time, a father gets mad because doesn't seem to see the kid not listening. But I really believe that here with RC and basically everything, yes, directions need to be followed, but you also need to do a trial and error on your own, or else you're not going to be able to learn the skill. Like RC does everything. It's not a skill that most people can just pick up and just do. There's a learning curve. Some of it happens fast, but I really enjoy watching that learning curve happen. It's probably one of my favorite things. I also like to troll people a little bit, just a little bit, but do it respectfully so they don't realize they're being trolled. That's the fun part. And I know there's a bunch of you guys shaking your head. It's hey, yeah. Let's see if I can get a YouTube job. Apparently, I don't know. Let's send it. It's water, I promise. See, I know you, Adam. So anyway, I digress. So we have what else? What other tech talk do we have? I don't know. I'm looking through it. By the way, I'm gonna grab this body and I want to kind of talk about it because it's one of the more. I know a lot of you guys. I'm not known for a unique build or a unique body at all. Period. But this one happens to be one of my. It's growing on me favorites, and you'll see why. Because getting up is too hard. So I have my Ram Rebel body. Now, it's really hard to tell. And I'm actually really surprised because this is actually painted with Mopar paint. I used billet silver to match my Ram 1500. Now, given this particular truck has a lot more options on the body than my 1-to-1 does, because I have to pay stupid property tax, personal property tax, and that's why. But the silver itself is automotive car paint. So what I've done, you guys can see it, and you guys seen this run in creek beds. You guys have seen it, take some tumble wumbles and such. What I did was a little bit unique. I got some great instructions with how to use body paint and make it last on a vehicle on one of these. And I kind of took it and I went a completely different way. I actually bought all the stuff too. And it's sitting somewhere over there. But then I said, let's do it the MJ way and let's send it. How many surprises you there? How much does that surprise y'all? Hey, English today, right? So what I did was I actually used some silver sparkle or the sparkly stuff first. Just like, hey, I want to make something shiny, give it a little extra flair. That happens to be one of my tiny human has a little bit of input in every body that I do, just because she actually likes spraying it too. And so that's what I used. Then after that dried, and I only gave it about 10 minutes to dry, if that, that's when I started. I used like 4 or 5 layers of the automotive paint. I got it up there somewhere, and it came from a body shop, D&V Auto. I'm going to give you guys a huge shout out because Kevin over there, if you guys are in the Northern Virginia area, you need some auto work, body work done, Kevin is the man. They've kicked butt with the amount of growth and also the customer service. So I owe him a fishing trip. Let's throw that there. I owe him a fishing trip because that's kind of our thing. If I need a little bit of paint, I'm talking just like a little can, I'll take him and his son fishing as best as we can. But so I had a little extra from paired on my Silverado that I did. I'm sorry, not my Silverado. That was another can, but for the Ram. And, I did it. If you can look at it, I'm going to hold it up to the light, see if I can get it to not get a terrible reflection. You guys might be able to see some of the sparkle itself from the Tamiya sparkle, and then also the Ram sparkle. And then I also used a silver, what was that? Whatever the polymer, the PS, silver, to back it. Because if you look underneath, it's silver on silver. So my thought process is I want that silver to show. I could have gone a little bit darker and used the black, but I just didn't feel that it was necessary. I kind of like that super silver, that sheer silver almost look to it. So that's what I went with. And I'll tell you what, that's probably one of my favorite bodies. It's by far the cleanest paint job I've ever done in my life. Because y'all know me. Y'all see, like, right above my shoulder. Ain't pretty. And half of the trucks I didn't even paint. Yeah. And actually, the one directly over my shoulder, my class 3, that was painted in about 5 minutes. Total. Top to bottom. And I just took some little black, a little bit of dark, deep cherry red, like 2 or 3 coats right quick. Little silver just to even it out, one more thing, and then just a little bit of black to kind of give it a black cherry look. It worked out really well. I'm still surprised that it's held up for over a year. Anyway, I digress. So, what do you guys want to talk about? I'm ranting. I'm raving. I'm chatting. I talk a lot. I miss talking a lot. Gosh, I want to go back to work. Anybody? I hear crickets. Now's where I need my app for my crickets. Okay, Google, play me the cricket sound. That's what I got. Ha-ha! Anybody? Going once? Yeah. Noob questions. What kind of noob question you have, Eric? I know you've been in this hobby forever, but I know you've got to have some sort of question. By the way, Eric owns Adventure RC. Check him out, www.adventurerc.com. He's got this t-shirt. And by the way, To droop or not to droop? That is a great question. I'll answer that real quick, and then I'll after I'm done throwing you here. Real awesome logo, really straightforward, really simple. If you see this logo anywhere else outside of Adventure RC or our boy Eric Warren, know that it's someone else has copied it, and shoot him a message, and then get it all. He'll square it away. Because look, quite honestly, we got to protect our own, and those little copyrights are a beautiful thing. So, to droop or not to droop? So, Eric, what kind of truck are you talking about? And I'm going to guess if you're talking about your 10.3. Because the only two trucks I've seen you drive are your TRX4 Defender. By the way, his Defender is amazing. And your Axial 10.3. Yeah, you're welcome. So I agree with Adam when it comes to a portal, well, a 60-40 droop. If you're going to use a shock for a droop, I know some people have like love-hate relationships with the desert lizards. Okay, so you've drooped everything with your 10.3. So actually, I'll tell you, I'll actually kind of go into what I did with my 10.3. Droop is pointless on a truck with lots of spring weight. Now, that's where it gets a little interesting. Personally, I know the 10.3 is a bit heavy with sprung weight, but instead of doing a droop, I actually did a limiting straps. I've noticed that with a slightly heavier trio wheel, the truck doesn't flip as much with the limiting straps because I'm not allowing that body roll to happen nearly as much. When it comes to the weight of the shock oil, in the front, I'm using 50 weight, and in the rear, I'm using 60. I ordered custom K&K 80 millimeter straps. I do like those a lot more over the hot racing. Mike uses a little small stainless steel insert instead of being a thicker aluminum you would see from hot racing. That's interesting because Adam's bringing in channeling in Sir Bill Riddle. He's really a mentor to me in many ways with this hobby. I remember blowing up his phone 2 years ago, sitting at my desk, and just like blowing it up. And he had to be shaking his head just like Adam does on a daily basis after he talks to me. It's quite interesting. That limiting strap kind of has a minor droop effect, and it saves the cost of having to purchase, the droop shocks, which we all know aren't super cheap. I think desert lizards are what, 45 for all four, maybe 50 plus shipping. Exactly. So I actually really like the idea of using a limiting strap on that. Eric, not only my 10.3 is elsewhere, it's somewhere in this house. I would show you, but it really does a nice job of being a little bit of both. It's not being able to droop too much, so it doesn't allow that those stock Axial 10.3 shocks extend too much for my liking. So that's allowing that body roll. So those limiting straps are helping that prevent so much body roll. I was able to actually have a direct comparison, and which is kind of rare when you're talking about like two 10.3s. My father and I have set up our 10.3s very similarly. The difference is he's using a brushless system and I'm using a brushed system. And I think our wheels are slightly different. Our tires are the same. And there's some minor stuff, but I noticed the amount of body roll that happened, and the amount of flipping that happened was lessened with the limiting straps compared. And this is not just like me taking a line than my dad taking a line. It's more of a I took the line and then I used his truck to take the line that has a similar feel. Oh, still poppers. And yeah, actually, Adam brings up the point. Yeah, Adam, yeah, I did. I have a limiting strap on a sprung shock, and it actually works out. It's working out really well on that particular truck. It has on the stock truck. I have tried fuel line in the shock. I like doing that when I'm doing full maintenance. The hardest part that I've seen, and this is totally me, cutting everything even is a huge challenge for me. I don't have a super sharp blade, like a little like a chop, almost like a chop saw. I don't have one of those. I'd love to get one, but that partially prevents me from being very even with everything. Excuse me. So, and I mean, if you're going to do it, the idea is to be limiting, even across the board is a beautiful thing. The one thing that I really like about having, believe it or not, having a sprung shock with the limiting strap, I haven't found any issues with compression. I haven't found any issues with it catching, believe it or not. Because essentially that a really small strap like that doesn't have the time to bind itself up, because, it's already only got a slight bend in it on a normal situation. Yeah, nitro fuel line, cutting things even, and I don't get along. Even though I have the right micrometers, I got all that, I still can't cut anything even for my life. I could probably do 2, but doing 4, that's a no-go. That's just me personally. Plus, patience. I will sit there. I have patience to grade projects, run over, look for all the small grains in from sanding that they haven't gotten out yet, but I don't have enough patience to cut 4 little pieces of fuel line. That's what wives are for. When you're sleeping in your truck, I'll know why. Adam, you're getting yourself in trouble, and I'm laughing. Trust me. I need another one. I need more water. That's what wives are for. I need more water. Hold on. Let's see if I can do it nicely. Let's see if it works. Ooh, I got a nice picture from a friend. That's shiny. I'm asking for more water. Let's see if this works. I don't know if it does. We're going to find out. Be prepared. Makes sense, MJ. I'm asking for more water. I sent a text message to my wife to find out if she can bring me more water. So, what about brass? Great question. Coming from a pure performance standpoint, I will add brass or aluminum to achieve a 60-40 weight bias. That is my end goal, a 60-40 weight bias. I can live with it 59, 42. That's fine. I will add brass only to achieve that weight bias. If you look closely at, I'm almost leaning to jailbreak right here because that's about right. It's the first truck that I'm gonna run. Once my Facebook jail is getting broken here. If you look closely, there's no brass. The only little bit of brass that I have is on the inside. And I'm talking, it's probably 30 grams of it. Thank you. 30 grams of it. Other than that, the rest of this truck does not have any brass. It's got titanium, but it doesn't have brass. Consequently, though, on a trail, I can see where that could be more fun. Like, I know. Well, hey, hold on. If you guys hear that sound, I got me my sandwich, my water. It's all good. Got me a fresh water. Okay, back. We're good now. Like, I don't have any brass on my 10.3. If you look at this this comp truck right above my shoulder here, that only has one piece of brass. No, it has two pieces of brass. Yeah, she is a keeper. In approximately 18 days, I'll be married to her for 10 years. So the fact that she hasn't killed me is a beautiful thing. Back to brass. This particular truck here only has one piece of brass, two pieces of brass on it. The first piece is the diff cover, just like almost every other TRX4 out there. The second piece is actually the panhard mount on the axle, because I kept breaking the plastic ones. That's the only reason, and it happens to be the only other piece that I had available to do an emergency repair. And once I do an emergency repair, I learn how to drive it as is, and I figured it out. I may look, and I am considering putting portal weights on this particular truck, just because I have found the balance to be too even. It is literally at about a 50-50, and it doesn't climb as well as I would like it to. It descends amazingly. The rear end does not come up over. It really does a nice job descending. But also, I did do their aluminum inner and outer portals, and they have shock lowers mounts. So they have 5 holes, and I've been able to adjust it so that way, I get the least amount of rise while climbing a hill. Because right there, that's a big part of shock tuning too, not just with the amount of brass that you have, but being able to limit as you're climbing a hill, right? This hand's the hill right here. As you're climbing a hill, to prevent that body from coming up and causing you to flip over. So by limiting that rise, you're going to be able to climb that much better. And actually here, because I have them on these, I have it on this truck. I don't know if you guys can see it or not. There you go. But you can see the multiple, or my shock mounts are right here. They're not on the link. They're actually considerably lower. When I say considerably lower, see if I can get you guys an actual visual here. There's probably a 1/4 inch of gap there, maybe even closer to a 1/2 inch of gap, which is significant, and that limits the amount of rise that happens. So, I can compress all I want. I have it set for limited compression, but also it's rise right there. That's its main ride height. So that way, when I'm pulling a hill, it doesn't come up and doesn't it stays. It doesn't go wee like it just did there. Huh. Apparently I need to reglue that. Good to know. So that's a great question, Eric. Too brass or not too brass? That is the question. I'm an advocate for less brass. Hey, what's going on, Chris? Are you because I don't know everybody's YouTube channel. I mean, clearly I know Adam and Eric and Bull Gear if he's still on. I know them personally too. Chris, are you out of Northern Virginia as well? I think I recognize you. I know we've chatted on Facebook on the Book of Faces. So, like I said, guys, check out. Speaking of, check out the Book of Faces, Wrecker RC. Shoot me a request, broccoli soup, LESOUP, because. And by the way, their algorithm came back and be like, "Is this a legitimate account?" And like you could see there, like through the email eyes, you could be like, Anyway, so I had to confirm that it was not a spoof account. Lies. All right, cool. Oh yes, all right, cool. I remember. All right, I remember talking to you. RHOLC for life, brother. It's like Fight Club. You don't talk about Fight Club. Anyway, I digress. So yeah, that's kind of where it sits. Great times. I need more. I need some more water here. Captain Paul's aboard. Great to see you, man. Great to see you. You've always you've I appreciate and I've been seeing you follow a little bit more and more. I know I have a reputation that probably makes you cringe, especially knowing your builds and how detailed they are. If you guys ever get a chance to go to reset to the Recon G6, and you need to check out Captain Paul's stuff. It's like it's CSM command sergeant major detailed or plus. Emergency repairs. Brass steering knuckles on my 10-3. Oh, okay. You're welcome, Paul. So I'm interested. Eric, what happened with your steering knuckles? Was it the stock axles where they meet, or was it the actual steering knuckles that went bad? Believe it or not, I haven't had any issues with my steering knuckles, which is crazy. But also, speaking of, because I can, I am going to order while I'm live. You guys are going to watch me spend just a little bit of money. I'm going to order the TRX. I'm sorry, not the TRX. The Axial 10.3 steering knuckles from Trio Hobby, because they just came out recently, and that's the weakest link available on my truck. And I want to make sure that doesn't become an issue. All right, signing in. We're good to go here. Products. Here's what I'm hoping for, guys, that they are not out of stock. All right, here we go. That's that. And they're 70.75. Please tell me they're not out of stock. Yay! There's 49 available. We're gonna add those to cart. Oh, I want black because they look good. All right, and let me back it out. And I need to get. Oh, apparently there's some stuff in my cart. I don't know if I can do it or not. So 10.3. I know I get squirrels. Yeah, we may as well. And we'll go the black. Just have everything match. Make it nice and pretty. Add to cart. All right, good stuff. Let's go view my cart. Oh, what stinks is everything is out. All the trail wheels are out of stock, which is great actually. Because that means I love seeing things out of stock, especially with smaller companies, because I know that they're reinvesting in their products and they're going to be coming out with more and more cool stuff. I'm really looking forward to that in the long term. So I am going to go ahead and actually do this. And boom. I'm going to hit that. Good to go. I'm about to place my order. Cool. 25 to 40 business days. I'm okay with that. We're going to make sure that gets saved. Oh, that's a problem. I'm going to do there. Clear, clear, clear. Good to go. Good to go. And let me find the magic word Virginia, because I'm right outside our nation's capital. All right, and we're going to hit the magic word save. So that address saves for the rest of time here. And I'm going to go over to Pal of Pays, and I'm going to make this purchase. And I'm going to hit login. Hope that was the right password. Going to say accept cookies. And I'm going to pay now. And redirecting you. Waiting for it. All right, order complete. Good to go. Ooh. Oh, man. Ooh. There's lots of people who came on here. Yeah. Hey, what's going on, Rat? Trail stuff, yeah. And I'm really excited because their stuff is seen as 75 for all the 10.3 and Capra stuff. You broke the panhard mount on the chassis and the axle stuff. Okay. So look, here's the okay. Yeah, that happens. On a serious, on an entertaining note, Eric, if you watch the video that I put out yesterday, you'll see me pushing that 10.3. There might have been a creek crossing, and I got to give a shout out to my boy Oscar down over here locally in Northern Virginia. He got an awesome video of it coming back toward us. And I mean, it's exactly what you would expect a Jeep to do. It looks really scale. For me, scale is a kind of a miracle, and it really does a nice job. Eric, make sure you get the 7075 Trail. It has the panhard mount and all that, the shock hoops. They make a difference, brother. They make a big difference. The two trucks that I've seen that have the weakest panhards off the factory shelf or off the kit is the Element and the 10.3. I haven't broken in 10.3 because I haven't had a chance to, because that's one of the things got immediately swapped. And again, shout out to Jeremy Kilburn, trail driver right there. Did that one up real nice, real pretty. I did have one screw back out. It'll never back out again because there might happen to be a nylock on the back of it. So that's all squared away. Yeah. But so it sounds like Eric, you're pushing your truck as much as I push mine. For that, I raised my water to you. Okay. Dude, Ratty, you gotta come, man. Run class 2. Do it for the experience. Even though, come have fun, throw a battery in that truck, run some awesome lines, and and have fun. I absolutely want you guys to kind of get an experience to see where some of our mindsets from the comp side come in. Oh, by the way, I know a bunch of you guys will laugh at this. Yep, Toys for Tots. That's exactly what I'm talking about, Chris. I know a bunch of you guys will laugh at this, but my boy Dan and Scott over at Hippies, which I believe they're rebranding and going to Homestead RC. Um, so they're putting like their thing is to have like a small series of RC events, and there's been talk of putting together a second series. Right now, we're competing in the first series. It is a Camel Trophy, which is I mean, honestly, it's about an hour long. This last one was 220 gates of shenanigans. There are partner drops, mandatory winch spots, tire change, and then and then um, there were bonus points areas for the Sorka side. So you finish the whole loop, and my father and I, which we teamed up, we did really well. That's awesome. Come on, Ratty. Yeah, I know you got this, man. Bring a toy, bring your truck. Just run and have some fun. Who cares about where you place, because you're there to learn and you're there to enjoy some shenanigans. But yeah, so the fun part. I mean, yes, the Camel Trophy, the Camel Toe was really great, but the fun part was he had like a bonus section for the Sorka side. So he didn't have a full Sorka event set up, but he did, like I said, he did a bonus. Two were hill climbs. One was on a rock where everything else came up real nice. Hey, I appreciate it. What's going on, Nathan? Good to see you. There's yet another guy that I actually know. Actually, I'm pretty sure I know almost everybody through here. I know Adam Paul, Captain Paul, Ratty. If I think that's you, I think I see you at Hips. Nathan, yeah, I know you too. That's awesome. Yes. Awesome. We look forward to anti-pandemic and your run south here. But yeah, so where was I? I forget even where I was at in my rant and rave. But either way, it's still so one of the fun events as a bonus he had was a blindfold drive. So the spotter was in a box. It was a pallet, really. So that way, equal size. The driver was back was to you, back to the truck, and the idea was to go through 10 gates and make it through there as quickly and as cleanly as possible. I think I hit one gate out of the 10, and my spotter was on the money. It was the first time that I'd actually taken out the yet to be named truck leaning toward jailbreak. But it was a great time. What you really got to see is communication. And also you got to see some shenanigans. You always got your extra buddies around you, yelling, send it, send it, send it. And, that's the first thing. That's my go-to. That's why I have my reputation. Oh, I do know you, Jeff. Good. You have no choice. Bring your 10. If you don't have your 10.1 there ready to run, I'm going to bring an extra truck for you to run. It'll be a 50 point and you won't have a choice. You know what? I'm just going to pop my element in there in my own truck, in the truck, and you'll run that. So that way you're going to start off 50 points right off the bat. I got you, brother. I got you. Bring your toy and bring an XT60 battery. I probably have more. I probably have, I'll have all mine. So if you still need one, we're good to go. But yeah, so yeah, anyway, back to my little story. It was so much fun. The communication there and the real challenge of it all was not only following your partner's directions, but also deciphering from the shenanigans going on all around you. Everybody saying, because they're screwing with you, by the way, top to bottom, everybody's screwing with each other. Except for the youngin. We were very respectful to the tiny human. A gentleman was competing with his son who is, in a kid's class. Yeah, it's good. Oh yeah. So it was so much fun. If anybody who gets a chance to do a blindfolded, just a bit of blindfolded shenanigans, do it. It's a great communication builder, a great team builder. I mean, I'm sure some of you guys have done something like that on a high ropes course or even a low ropes course, trust falls and all that. Highly recommend you doing that as an RC, working with your friends, because a lot of the major competitions allow you to have a spotter. I've noticed that, and I personally did not take advantage of that, which I should have. But now that I know that, game on yet again. So, Chris, yeah, if you get your sliders in on time, good. Look, worst case scenario, message in the works and be like, yo, Brent, meet me there. You don't have a truck. Ready? Were you listening? I'm going to give you crap. I'll bring a truck for you. That way you have exactly that much choice in the opportunity to run. Bring your toy. I'll have a truck. We'll get you squared away. We'll get you squared away. Uh-huh. I know you're just shaking your head, but we'll get you squared away. All right. So, what other questions do you guys have about tech tips? I know, Chris, you've hit me up a whole bunch of times through the Book of Faces with questions. Going from my MJ and hey, let's go into on over through the broccoli suit. Shoot me over some questions that you guys have. That's the whole point of this discussion, is answering like those kind of a noob questions that we were all there at one point. The hard part is finding that information sometimes and not knowing that rccrawler.com still exists as a forum, and that is probably one of the most searchable and easiest places to find an answer. Because let's face it, if you go to certain groups on Facebook, there are more trolls than there are actual answers. That's probably the hardest thing. Is, every so often you get a couple of people that try to answer. They might have good answers, but they also, and the hard part is also deciphering opinion from an answer. So, someone sent me a text message. I bet you it's one of 3 people. Huh. It's not one of those. And it's the other one. You know what's funny? It's the other one I was thinking. Not it. Uh-huh. Lies. Dude. Jeff, did you not hear what I said? I will bring a turnkey truck for you. Done. Don't worry about a body. You're gonna use the ugly duckling. I'm gonna give you the best chance to do the best that you possibly can. You get the ugly duckling, because I'm gonna be driving jailbreak at this point. Do you like any shocks that are not stock? Right? Yeah, I do too. I got Adam for that too. So depends on what you're looking for. That's a good question, Chris. The shocks that I use on all of my trucks, I have three choices. I use Desert Lizards for a full droop situation, or a droop. I do use about 30, anywhere from 30 to 100 weight oil. Depends on what I'm looking for. But know that they're not good sprung shocks. So if you do an even springs, they will extend too much and all that. But if you're doing a droop, they work really, really well. If you're looking for the other two sets, I use the TRX4 shocks, and I also use Element, the team associated Team Element shocks. They are very nice. They do a really good job, and they're also very high quality. If I had to pick a fourth one, I would go with the Pitbull shocks. I do have a set of Proline shocks that I have on it's the TRX4 that my Ram truck goes on. I don't really like them, even though they have a lot of tunability. They elongate too much, from my opinion. And it was hard to get the right amount and control the extension without having to go through and put the fuel line or extendable straps on it. And you're welcome. I got you, Jeff. So that's my choices. When it comes down to affordability, you can find stock takeoffs for the TRX4 on eBay. They're about $50 roughly. They've gone up in price for a little bit, and you can also get different colors. Those are about 60 bucks or so, maybe a little bit more than that. I can't. Yeah, but the good thing is they're not like if you get the ones with colors, they're not used, and they also do give you shock oil. So there's another skill to have anyway, is knowing how to bleed shocks, which really isn't hard. It's just, you got to take your time to do it correctly. But yeah, that's where I would go with. That's exactly where I would go with. Almost every one of my truck comp builds. Actually, let me take that back. What's funny is the Ugly Duckling, which Jeff's going to use, actually has TRX4 shocks in the rear and Desert Lizards on the front. It's kind of entertaining. As I was describing, my rear end was dropping too much whenever it would let go. In 1-to-1, that's basically your rear end's letting go, and it just like it. As soon as I put any kind of as soon as I take the pressure of the body off of it, it unloads. The suspension completely unloads. Yes, the problem that you see with Kyoso Velvets is exactly that. It's hard to find. All right, so Chris, you have lizards for your creeper. Are they set up for droop? Or did you kind of just put them together as you saw? Because I know desert lizards, when you get them, as a first timer, they can be absolutely overwhelming. Okay, cool. Cool. Good. I like them. Personally, I like the droop shock to be at least medium, possibly even hard, depending on the weight of the wheel tire combo and the axles. Just that really is just playing around. Ironically, this truck right here, my TF2, has TRX4 shocks in the rear. They're the green ones. I kind of needed a shock set about a year and a half ago at a White Rose Hobbies event, and that's what they had. So that's what I got. And I think I have 80 millimeter, the jinkiest, cheapest shocks up front that I took the springs out of. That way I'm relying literally solely on the leaf springs, but I also don't have the, just 2 leaf springs. I have all 4 to kind of make up for that. It's real. The TR, yeah, Daryl, I like your point. The green springs. Here's the yep. All right, so here is the short version. Daryl brings up the green springs. TRX, the Traxxas has multiple colors for these springs. What that does is denounce the amount of essentially the weight and the amount of pressure it takes for it to compress. Stock springs on a sports are a little bit lighter than they are on a defender. The defender springs is the ones that Daryl is talking about. They are green. You can order them separately. They're like $7 or something like that. They're not a lot of money, but it's totally an opportunity. Now, Jeff, you're asking about where do you buy droop shocks. If you want specifically the desert lizards, you can get them on. I don't want to pimp Amazon. First and foremost, check Adrenaline RC Raceway. Your second bet is RC Crawler Country. They tend to stock them. But Daryl is right. If you want to get dude, look, you've done all kinds of crazy stuff, Jeff. You can make a set of droop shocks. I know you can. You just need the right super sharp knife and a lot more patience than I have. It's not wrong. Patience and I don't get along. But yeah, you could totally make them. So yeah, that's a good point. That's a very good point. Make a hole. No. Yeah. So, and Eric, you've got a great point. You will hear me reference Adrenaline RC Raceway. That is our local shop. So awesomeness. Our local shop took over the other local shop, Hobby Hangar, and I know there's a lot of restructuring going on physically inside the building over at Hobby Hangar, Adrenaline at Hobby Hangar. The really cool part that you see is there's some familiar faces that know a lot about crawling. You also have a lot of guys that know a lot about racing and bashing. So you kind of get the gamut. And the best part is that's Eric. It's actually we hold our comps at the second location out in Winchester, Virginia, off of Interstate 81. Literally, if you're traveling down 81, coming south out of Fredericksburg, just after you cross the West Virginia line and come through the Winchester exit, keep a eye on the right before you get to 66. Or I'm sorry, yeah, it's gonna be on the right hand side going south. You can actually see our RC crawler course right from 81. It's really cool. Yeah, it's really cool. It's a great time. So yeah, highly suggested to go. Good stuff. So, anybody else have any good questions? Anything? Oh yeah, they did do a drag strip too. That is the truth. That's all right, man. Stupid long lag happens. Don't worry. I know you're out. You're doing your thing, and I hope you're kicking butt at it because I knew last time you and I had talked, you gave me a plan, brother. You gave me a very detailed plan, like a step 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm excited to see you embarking on that journey. So props, keep it up. I'm almost out of water. I really am almost out of water. At least this keeps my water cold. So props to my buddy for hooking me up with this water keeper colder type situation. Anyway, I digress. So, do you guys have any other points? Any other questions you guys want to talk about? Interesting. Do I ever not use shock oil in shocks? So, I have. Here is why I always have shock oil. I was on the trail one day. I got to a point on some rock. Actually, it wasn't a trail; it was a creek bed. And actually, Chris, you might Here, all right. So first and foremost, let me tell you why they're wrong. Rust, rust, rust. Um, I have been on. I play in creeks. I play in Bull Run. I play in creeks leading to the Occoquan Reservoir. Being that you're a local, you might know you know what region I'm speaking of. I actually had a shock physically fall apart on me once. Like the piston actually came out. And I was like, oh, that's not supposed to happen because the E-clip had rusted off. Yep. So you don't need a lot of oil. If that's what you're looking for in a droop setting where you want to let the springs do all the work, put some really lightweight oil in there and just enough so because you're going to flip it, it's part of life. It moves it around, it coats everything properly, and it will keep that water off. Yeah, keep a little bit in there because I honestly think what happened was the oil had seeped out over time, and water got in, and water stayed in, and water rusted it off. Adam, are you even able to compress it with 1 million weight diff oil? It's gotta be like, here's your compression. That's it. That's about as that. You probably have about the same amount of compression as I have in my leaf springs, which ain't much. In a droop, you can let all the oil, yeah, do all the work without a spring. Yep. Yeah. That's a very interesting point that you bring over and really controlling your suspension. And I completely agree with you. Almost all of my trucks have a very tight suspension because of exactly that, floating over a gap. I've fallen into one too many traps. But well, here's where it gets interesting. Well, we have an agree to disagree going on, ladies and germs. Um, I love this is the kind of discussion that I really, really enjoy. Um, you don't have Adam. What truck do I have that has it? That has a full droop suspension. Hold on. Maybe no, not that one. That one. Not that one. This one. This one's just straight tight. Like it don't move. I have another truck out there, out there that has a full droop, desert lizards all the way around. The one thing that I've noticed personally, I like a little bit of movement, but not a lot. We're talking about, I'm not talking like a full inch of movement. I'm talking like a total of like a quarter inch of movement, top to bottom. Interesting. Eric, what kind of oil did you use? Like how heavy was that oil? Um, and the reason why I ask is the TRX4 body also is a bit is smaller than some of the others that I've seen. I'm interested to know what kind of oil you had. And also, did you do anything and adjust anything with inside the actual valve body? You have where the piston meets the inner part of the shock. That hole has holes in it, and sometimes you can put only like one hole as opposed to like 3 holes. All right, cool. Dan is 3D printing you a truck. You better be ready for some good glue, brother. Interesting. I'm purely curious now. I'm curious now. I might try it with my 6x6 because send it. You make me think. I like the debate going down, guys. I really, really do. It's fun. All right, I gotta switch accounts here now. I gotta go over to my broccoli soup. Ooh, wrong one. Yep. One must love the art of the booking of faces. Oh, I see a private message. It's all good. All right. Cool. So nothing super crazy. All right. Ooh, where'd everybody go? Where'd everybody go? Live streaming. Here we go. It didn't trail very low. All right. Adam, you're not wrong, but I'm entertained. I'm entertained. So many times in the world of all right, full disclosure, I'm a band nerd. Okay, top to bottom. Even in my day job, I like to go in and assist the young musicians as needed. And we always had a saying in drumline: even if you're wrong, you're right, because you had to line it up and figure out with the formations. In this situation, Adam is basically telling Eric, even if you're wrong, you're still right, applying the physics of things. But if you know your truck well enough, you can make it work the obstacles through throttle control, through steering control, with ease, and that still, people with the theoretical proper setups should be able to do as well. I love this. I love it. Just because what I find it with RC, unlike other hobbies of mine, which are a bit more dangerous, what I love about RC is there's so much trial and error that what works for one person may not work for another. You know what, Eric? You know what's funny is as you're saying this, I'm thinking about that meme that has gone through the internet of that TRX Ford with the Jeep body, the Enduro Jeep body, just bouncing and everything just coming apart because there's no shock absorption. That's what I'm seeing. Except I know you actually use the except I know you use pins, so it's all great. Yeah, it's so much fun. That's what I love about this whole hobby. Is even if you're wrong, you're still right. Just think about that. Let's smile. I need more water, but I also need to go to bed. I'm old. I need to work tomorrow. Hey, Captain Paul, if it works for you, you work with it. Adam, one day. I don't know that it'll be soon. I'm sure you'll send me some. I'm actually waiting for a text with some light reading, cough cough, of hey, read this on how shocks work, and get back to me. Oh yeah, the referring to the meme, the 10.3 tops at 3.5 mile an hour. Yeah, you're not wrong. It is kind of an interesting little truck. Um, hey, look, I love me an OG SCX10. Even though the only SCX10 I own is actually the 10.3, but they're still cool trucks. You know what's funny, Captain Paul? Got me a Honcha body. There you go. Now what is going to go on, I don't know. What's going to go in that pile? And it's going to be enjoyable. All right, guys. It is getting a little bit late. I still need to not be smelly. Oh, Adam, with your knowledge. Well, here's the best part. Are you ready? So one of the few bodies that Axial put out, that isn't a Jeep. Ha ha! Go ahead. Argue with me. I'm not wrong. But that said, all right, guys, I'm actually going to start and let you guys go. I've got a few things that I got to take care of before I hit the sack. And thank you guys for joining us. Please make sure you tune in tomorrow. I'm going to be having Operation 11 Charlie join us 9 p.m. I'm really looking forward to that conversation on what they do for the RC community. So, please join us. Would love to have you guys. AJ and team's going to be really looking forward to it. It's going to be a great time. Chris, thank you guys. Adam, Eric, Captain Paul. Who else joined us? Jeff. And I mean, I see all kinds of shenanigans up through here, guys. Rob, guys, thank you. Daryl, anybody else I see here? Tanya, thank you for joining us. Nathan, appreciate you checking in, and a whole bunch of y'all. Guys, thank you. Like I said, one more time, Jason. Thank you guys for checking in. See you guys soon. Operation Charlie 11 Charlie will be on tomorrow. Come join us. See what AJ and the crews we're going to talk about. Because I'm not going to lie, a lot of the conversations we have, they're on the fly. Oh, by the way, the week after, we got Eric Warren coming on too. So don't be surprised. JD, thank you for coming. Great to see you. I hope you guys can use some of these tech tips we talked about. And, go from there. Because who knows? Let's do this more often. I enjoy it. A little bit of live chat, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. And, you guys have a great night. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. Make sure you check out the YouTube. Make sure hit that subscribe button, please. If you haven't already done so, please make sure you hit that sub button. Who's that? Who's that? Operation 11 Charlie? Or wait, or is it you going to be on December 7th? Yeah. We know. Yeah. You better make sure your calendar is good to go. I know about that calendar. You like to, you and your calendar don't always get along. Set an alarm, like 6 of them, because that's what I do. Actually, I lied. My alarm happens to be sleeping above me. Guys, thank you. I'll talk to you soon, and have a great one.